most UFOs may be unmanned like a drone. When we think of UFOs, for the most part, we assume they're spaceships that are controlled by aliens, but in reality this may not be the case. Could the UFOs be unmanned? In fact, there's a strong case to be made that many UFOs may not actually have crews, thus they are remotely controlled like modern drones, or controlled in some other way. Some of the UFO encounters show, for example, that there are small robots inside them. One of the most intriguing but also perplexing UFO encounters of this kind occurred in Scotland on November 9, 1979, at about 10:39 in the morning, and the Telegraph wrote about it, saying Robert Taylor, a Scottish forestry worker employed by the Livingston Development Corporation, parked his truck at the foot of Deshmont Law and went up for a walk up the hill. As he stepped out into the clearing, he said he bumped into a strange metal sphere about 20 feet across, like a spaceship, a huge flying dome. It was made of dark metallic material with a rough texture reminiscent of sandpaper, he claimed. Later, details of the story appeared from BBC journalists, and they said Taylor described how the spheres with two spikes rolled towards him, and when he began to faint, they grabbed his legs from both sides. Mr. Taylor came to his senses in a disheveled state 20 minutes later. All he could remember was a strong smell of burning. When he woke up, the clearing was empty, save for the many deep, dark, regular marks on the ground. He approached his van, but was so tense that he could not drive normally on the road and drove the car into a ditch, after which he had to run home in a daze. He did not see any aliens in the object. Consider the following case. On the night of April 21st, 1991, the term close collision became very important for the crew and passenger of an airliner flying to London, England. At 2100 hours, Captain Achille Zagetti, who was piloting a McDonnell MD-80 aircraft, was startled to see an unidentified rocket-like flying object pass his plane as it flew over 22,000 feet over Kent, England. This is in 1991. Since the UFO was no more than 1,000 feet above the airliner, and therefore the incident was classified as very close encounter, the Civil Aviation Authority then began a formal investigation, and about 2 weeks later they issued a statement to the media. This is what they said. The pilot stated that the object was light brown, around 3 meters long, about 10 feet, and had no means of propulsion. The plane was under the control of the London Air Traffic Controller Centre, which had no other aircraft nearby, but according to the pilot's report, the faint radar trail was seen 10 nautical miles behind the Alitalia aircraft. In conclusion, it was said, the air traffic controller filed a report on the incident and investigative actions began immediately. Extensive investigations failed to provide any indication that could have been seen. That the object was only 3 meters long suggests that there was no crew on board, unless we assume that there were very tiny little people sitting there. However, eyewitness encounters with very small aliens are actually extremely rare, while small UFOs are seen around the world almost every day. Another notable case can be taken from the archives of the UK Civil Aviation Authority, which has collected many UFO reports, including cases involving UFOs that were too small to have crews. One such report states the following. June 21st, 1982, in Brindisi, Italy. An unidentified object was spotted by the pilots. The object flew to the left at the same altitude as the plane, FL 230, and 2 miles away. It was a shiny black donut the size of a car. The object twitched but did not change its trajectory. The fact that the ship was about the size of a car suggests that it probably did not have a real crew either. So now let's take a trip from the UK to Bolivia. The documents declassified under the Freedom of Information Act and released by the Office of Defense Intelligence say on the evening, August 8, 1979, the embassy received information that a strange object had been found on a farm near Santa Claus at about half an inch thick. The object was later described as about 3 times the size of a basketball. And let's go further. In the summer of 1946, Scandinavia became the target of many UFOs. So 1946, this is about a year before Roswell, 1947 in the United States. So Scandinavia in 1946, they were called phantom rockets. There have been many reports from Norway, Denmark, Finland, and Sweden, and they have caused brief but alarming situations for these countries. On July 11, the U.S. Embassy in Stockholm, Sweden, prepared a secret note that read in part, "Over the course of several weeks, there have been numerous reports of strange rocket-like objects in the skies of Sweden and Finland. In recent days, reports of such sightings have increased significantly. The defense attaché is investigating through Swedish channels and has been promised the results of Swedish observations. The Swedes say they know nothing about the origin or purpose of the missiles, but they state unequivocally that they were not launched by the Swedes." On July 19, 1947, an article appeared in the Aftenposten newspaper of Oslo entitled, "Did 2 rocket bombs fall in Mijos?" The article contained the following notable words. "This morning we received a sensational report from a man in firing that 2 rocket bombs hit Mishoa last night. They were in the shape of ordinary aircraft, but were quite small with a wingspan of only 2.5 meters and arrived today between 2400 and 0330 from the west at a low altitude above the southern part of Fearing, where they were observed by many people, including visitors to the Hasselbecken in Arnes. Again, such a small ship can hardly contain a crew. This begs the question, maybe most UFOs in principle fly without crews, or they have technology and knowledge beyond our understanding." And this is on Infinity Explorers, and this is a lot this goes along with what a lot of cosmologists and astronomers have been saying lately, that there could be a mothership parked outside of our solar system, sending probes and shuttles towards our solar system and our Earth to scout and see what's going on here. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. This is on Infinity Explorers by Ansh Srivastava. Thank you. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.